We are living in a golden age of purple and gold. What a privilege it is to be a fan of the 2023 edition of the JMU Dukes football team. At the risk of jinxing us, I'll say an undefeated season is a reasonable expectation. And seasons like this come around only once in a lifetime. Or, if you live long enough, maybe twice. You see, I was in high school, it was 1975, when Madison College finished its Division III football season undefeated. Way to go, vintage Dukes. But back to the present. As JMU fans, we've got to appreciate this magical run. Relish it, revel in it. The Dukes are number 21 in the polls, one notch better than the Catholics from Indiana, by the way. We are working hard and getting better every week. And by we, I mean you and me, and of course the football team. Because we're all in this together. We are the Dukes of JMU, and after trouncing Georgia State, we are 9 and go! Hello and welcome to the 9 and 0 edition of the JMU YouTube show with your host, Mighty Oz. Today we'll preview this weekend's big game against UConn, but first, a quick look back at the win in Atlanta. I could break down the X's and O's because I know you trust my football expertise, but instead I want to give you a kind of an overview and some look at the nuances of the game from Georgia State head coach Sean Elliott.
Let's go. Well, it's pretty obvious that we got our ass kicked today.
JMU obliterated Georgia State, turned those Panthers into pussycats, demoralized them with football played fast and furious. So many great performances on both sides of the ball for JMU, but our player of the game was pretty obvious. Happy birthday, and I'm pleased to announce Jordan My Oh My McLeod is our first two-time winner. He was relaxed, he was sharp, he was dominant. My oh my, I'm glad he's our QB1.
And he's the JM YouTube Show Player of the Game.
Sorry, but I have to interrupt this program for an emergency broadcast of the Mighty Oz mailbag. You see, while the staff was producing this week's program, we received a flood of letters, all of which say basically the same thing. Here's one. Hey, Mighty Oz, you are a moronic cretin. Get off my screen or I will come after you with a... that really wasn't representative. That's an outlier. Silly prankster fan. You almost got me there. No, what most of these letters say is something like, Dear Mighty Oz, use your influence to force the NCAA to let the Dukes go bowling. Sincerely, thousands of fans. They must have gotten together and written that as a group. So believe me, I am all for that, fans, because bowling is an all-American, wholesome activity for the whole family. Alleys have shoes in all sizes. Most of them are fungus-free, and bowling is affordable. You can grab a Coke, some fries, and a beer, maybe a burger. So let's all take the family out and go bowling soon. And yeah, Mr. NCAA, I want you to listen to the chants from the growing throngs of protesters throughout this great nation. Let the Dukes bowl. Let the Dukes bowl. No bowling, no peace. No bowling, no peace. And now, back to our show. Now let's take a look at the University of Connecticut Huskies. UConn was founded in 1881. They called it the Storrs Agricultural School back then. The main campus today is in Storrs, Connecticut, which is about 30 miles east of Hartford, which is the state capital of Connecticut. They have about 32,000 students at UConn when you count all 5 regional campuses. As for the athletics, the sports as we call them, this is a brand name university. Let's face it, they have 23 NCAA championships, 11 in women's basketball alone. They started playing football back in 1896, so plenty of experience. Right now they're a team without a conference as far as football goes. They're coached by Jim Mora, who also coached at UCLA and Seattle Seahawks.
Atlanta Falcons. Jim Moore is the son of retired NFL coach Jim Moore. They're both pretty good at coaching, but not very original or creative with the names.
UConn is mascotted by Jonathan the Husky. Now, they call him Jonathan the Husky because
ever since 1935, because they're honoring a fellow named Jonathan Trumbull, who was the last colonial governor
and the first state governor of the state of Connecticut. So Jonathan the Husky, you know, usually I like to throw some shade at the opposing mascot, but Jonathan, he's he's just too cute to make fun of. So there you have it. That's UConn. Okay, now it's time for all you folks who are getting ready to lay down your bets to hear the Mighty Oz lukewarm lock of the week. JMU is getting a little dinged up by injuries. We've lost our two best O linemen. We've lost two D linemen, including the guy who was all set to break the NCAA sack record. So big challenge there, and I hope we can continue the next Duke Up system that's worked so far, but it has me a little concerned. On the other hand, UConn is just 1-8 this year, but 5 of their losses have come by 1 score or less, so you got to consider that. They're also coming off of a shellacking in Tennessee last week, so they're going to be angry. They're going to be seeking redemption. Unfortunately for the Huskies, this is not basketball. So here's your prediction. Book it. JMU 38, UConn 10. I'm going to pause the JM YouTube show subscriber drive this week so we can properly greet and assimilate all the new folks who have signed up recently. Welcome to you. I'd also like to pitch you on this idea this week. JMU is riding high right now, but our sports teams need your support. How about giving up a few bucks to keep the JMU purple in the pink? Please donate what you can to the Duke Club or the Montpelier Collective, or both. What do you say? Celebrate the 9 wins so far by giving $9. What'll it hurt? You won't miss $9. Or if you want to give 9,000, that'd be cool too. I'll try to make it easy to donate by putting links in the show notes below. No guarantees, though. I'm not an expert at this. And Scott, the producer, is out sick this week. Can't find good help these days. Now, wouldn't it be great if we raised so much money for the Dukes that we could build out that stadium, keep all our players home and happy at JMU, and stay competitive in football and other sports for years to come? It's going to get tougher. We need that $9 from you. Now, my goal is to raise so much money for JMU that we will soon beat an SEC team in a New Year's Bowl, because a man can dream. Let's go Dukes.